Kaleigh Evans is here, and she represents Grandma's House, and Grandma's House is in several different places in the area. One's here in Harrison, one's in Mountain Home, and one's in Berryville. Is that correct?
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me back. It's been a while.
Yes, we're glad to have you.
And your title is, I said public relations.
Yes, I'm both president and the vice president now. Because
Okay.
it's just me. And I'm the community development coordinator.
Okay.
Okay.
And
right.
so I'm really lucky and I get to have that title for both Grandma's House and the Merlyn Foundation since they're brother-sister organizations.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about Grandma's House for people that don't know what it is. What do they do, and who do they serve?
Oh, goodness. It's so hard to put that whole title
Yeah,
into
really,
a
yeah.
sentence or two, but we just call ourselves a safe place for hope and healing where children and their families who are all alleged victims of child abuse can come and they receive a variety of services with us, including forensic interviews, advocacy services, medical exams if needed, and therapy. And they all can get all of those services from us. That way they just can come to one location. That way everybody's more familiar and comfortable with the whole process. And we now serve 7 counties in Arkansas.
Wow. You think about child abuse and you don't think that it, I mean, we don't see it every day. I mean,
Right.
It's a hidden thing. It's a crime, a family crime.
Yes.
And, for me personally, I wonder how you find out about these cases. Is it through law enforcement, or do you have people call and say, I've got this problem, I need to talk to you about it? How do those things reveal itself?
Quite honestly, it depends on the day. Sometimes we do get a
Okay.
call from law enforcement, but generally they go through the child abuse hotline. And
Okay.
a lot of times they come to us through mandated reporters like teachers or Bible school teachers,
They
people
see
who work
some
in
signs.
hospitals.
Yeah.
Yes. Or sometimes we have an advocacy and prevention coordinator. Her name's Cassie Roberts. She's lovely. And she goes and she speaks to children at schools and to different religious groups, and she educates them on signs to be aware of. And she's had several times when people come up and say, oh, she had a little boy recently come up and say, oh, I had an uh-oh feeling, so I told my mom. Mom called the child abuse hotline. He got services. He's being taken care of.
Gotcha.
So it truly does depend on the day, but every now and then people do call us and say, hey, this has happened, what are our next steps? And we just go ahead and walk them through the process to make sure all the boxes are checked.
And you mentioned about the actual Grandma's house, and it's not set up to be such a sterile environment, so it's
Right.
more child-friendly, family-friendly, but maybe they can feel a little bit more comfortable with the process that they're having to go through.
Oh, 100%. So we, like Dan said, we have 3 locations now. We have our primary center here in Harrison, and then we have 2 other locations, one in Mount Home and one in Berryville. We also have an alternate location that we use in Huntsville. And when you look at any of them, you would never think, oh, this is where I come to talk about, something that happened to my child. Or as a child, you wouldn't go by and say, oh, I don't want to go there. It looks
Right.
scary. The whole child abuse world, it really started educating itself and developing in the early 80s. And before that happened, a child was having to tell his or her story a minimum of 8 times to 8 different organizations because there wasn't a system worked out. And now people can come to child abuse centers and they tell their story one time, and they get to just talk to an interviewer in a really safe room that looks incredibly homey. And then while that interview is happening upstairs or in a different room, we have law enforcement watching, DCFS watching. I mean, everybody is there and working together.
Wow.
Just to make everything easier for the child and their family.
Wow.
And I'm sure there's quite a bit of success stories, but you probably wouldn't know that. I mean, there's only so much that you involve yourself in, or can you, do you
Follow up.
track? Do you
Right.
track success or not?
So it's a double-edged sword, that answer.
Okay.
So last year we saw 409 children. And that's the highest number we've ever had.
Oh, okay.
And we say that with the realization that probably about 60% of child abuse cases for our area as a whole were still not reported.
Wow.
So it's great that people are hearing about us and receiving services, but I hate that they have to.
Right.
But to more directly answer your question, the way that we track that is through our multidisciplinary team services. So about once a month, the people who are advocates and interviewers at the center, along with our executive director, Michelle Steiner, who is an MDT leader for a couple of our counties. They all get together with the DCFS workers and law enforcement and people like April, who is our victim witness coordinator in a couple of counties. They get together and they go through and they talk about each case, what services are being provided, so we make sure we don't miss anything.
Gotcha.
And then we find out if a case is true, unsubstantiated, or still in the process. And that helps us keep track of, yes, this actually happened, these people are being prosecuted, no, this was turned out to be not true, and that's how we track
So
our
you are
success,
able
I
to-
guess.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
track.
to some degree.
Yeah.
So what do you want our viewers to know right now? I mean, I'm sure that we could go on for hours.
Right. The primary thing I want them to know is that our doors are still open. We never shut down with everything that has happened here with COVID, and we wear our masks, we take all our precautionary measures, we follow CDC and local law guidelines, but our doors have stayed open the entire time. We're still serving all 7 counties. We have a full staff now that's up and running, and everybody's doing great. And we also have an upgraded website right now that everybody can go and check out. It's www.grandmashousecac.com. And then aside from that, the big things I want to hit on is that we have 2 events coming up.
Okay.
So first thing we have is for the Merlyn Foundation. It'll be in Berryville on Saturday, July 11th. And it'll be a big old rag ball tournament. And it's going to be about 90 degrees. So everybody needs to come prepared for that. And then on August 1st, which is also a Saturday, we're going to have our annual color run. And it's also going to be celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
Okay.
I know it's...
And how can people find out more about that?
Yeah.
Well, they are always welcome to go ahead and look on our website, and they'll be able to see all the events and ways to contact me.
Okay.
They can directly message us on our Facebook page, or they can look up our number online and they can give me a call. We're pretty
right.
flexible.
Kaleigh, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
thank you
Great
guys for having
information,
me.
And it's a great organization when it's needed.
And you can
Yes.
always come back.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Eric Stefanski, and
Kaleigh Johnson.
there we go. And we're going to be talking about lyric. That's,
Not just Kaleigh either.
yeah. We'll be right back.